Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here and you've never seen this beat face before, hi, my name is Tamar, also known as Musings of Curvy Lady, and this is the corner of the internet where I love everything beautiful, fashion, and everything lovely. So if that is your style, you're gonna wanna stick around. And today we are doing a makeup and yap, but today's yap is more focused on lessons and tips that I wish I knew before I started my content creation, or things that I learned along the way that I wish I honestly, I wish I learned a little bit sooner. But you know what? Somehow it all worked out anyway. And I wanted to share the wealth of knowledge that I've accumulated in over like 14 years of doing this. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look and some tips about social media and content creation, please keep on watching. Welcome back, you guys. I am fresh faced, fully done with all of my skincare, and we're gonna do some makeup and yap, of course. But before we get started, you guys know what to do. We're gonna be yapping, so you need to like and comment, keep the conversation going, and of course, you have to subscribe. Duh. Turn on notifications so you never miss a Curvy Lady upload. But today I wanted to talk about content creation, in particular my journey and things that I wish I knew before, things that people don't tell you, because the fact of the matter is that a lot of people want to have a job in social media in some form, and they see how cool it is. They see the brand trips, they see the PR packaging, they see all of these really cool things, but there's so much more that goes behind the scenes to make it a very successful experience for you. And success looks differently for everybody. Whether you have like the ultimate internet glory, like that's what you're like wanting to attain, or I feel like I'm very happy like where I am. Of course, there's always room for growth and more and like doing other things, but I feel like I am successful. The fact that I am sitting here, when did I go full time? April of 2021. And I'm doing okay. You know, I'm still doing this. Like, I still got my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm able to take care of myself, my family, and support my ministry, and doing all the things that I've always wanted to do, but felt like I was never going to be able to because of how crazy it was juggling a full-time job that was so hectic as working as a bedside night shift nurse while creating content, which to me was a full-time job. A lot of people were like, oh, you do that on the side. No, I probably was putting just as many hours into content creation as I was my nursing job. So anyway, we're gonna talk about all of that. And first we're going to, we need to put some primer on this face. So I'm gonna be using some new products, or new to me products. They've been around, but I've been using this product from Danessa Myricks. I don't know why I haven't used it before, but this is the Blurring Balm Powder in the Universal shade. Don't mind me, I like dug my finger into it, so it's not pretty anymore. But I feel, I've been using this for the last couple of times I've been doing my makeup, and I feel like this has been the reason why my makeup looks so good. It does what it says. It's a blurring balm powder. It feels like a balm, and then when you're applying it, it has like a satiny finish, like it turns into a powder, like you just dusted like powder on your face, like that feeling, not that look, but that feeling. So I really get this in my T-zone and in my brows because I am oily in these areas like crazy. All right, so first thing, looking back at my journey, I started back in 2012, before this was even a thing, before this was even a career, out of the pure need to want to do something creative. I was working ICU at Mayo Clinic. I was 22, 23 years old. I just felt overwhelming pressure and anxiety going into work all the time because I had this really hectic, intense job. You know, I was working in ICU. It was my first nursing job out of college, like in a hospital. Man, I was just like getting burnt out, and I needed something creative and fun. And I remember in college, I would always look at Gabby Fresh. Like she wasn't Gabby Fresh at the time. Her blog was called Young, Fat, and Fabulous, and it was like such a nice way to escape during like studying during nursing school. I would scroll and just see all of her outfits, and I'm like, I see someone, I see myself in another girl who loves fashion, looking amazing. And so I decided, I'm like, you know what? I want to start a blog. I think I want to start a blog. And I literally decided that on my lunch break one night while I was working at the hospital. It was the best decision for me that I could ever make because it literally changed my life. But it all started because as a kid growing up as a first generation American, I didn't always have that freedom to just do whatever I want as far as a career. You had a couple of choices. You could be a doctor or a nurse, you could be a lawyer or an engineer. That was kind of what was the plan for me. I'm also using a second primer. I kind of like go on the outside with this, and this one is the Gripping Jelly Pop Primer from e.l.f. I love this. So we're just going to let that marinate, and that is the trick to really just like get your glam. That base is letting the primer prime. You just don't like put on primer on a wall, you know what I'm saying? And then just start painting. You just gotta like let chill just for a second. So I was always an academic kid, and like, so I went to college right after high school. I did nursing, got the job, did that. And I kind of was like, is this what I'm gonna do for the next 30 years of my life? Like nothing creative, because I've always had a creative eye. I always loved putting outfits together. And I always say this, bloggers and like content creators that we know now, a lot of them are millennials, right? And a lot of us were content creators before that whole term existed. And I say that because we always probably had a Kodak camera on us. We were always snapping. We were always trying to create an experience or a moment. And that was me. I always had a disposable camera. I always wanted to like capture the moment. I always thought about my outfits, laid them out before the first day of school, creases in my jeans. Like it was just, I love looking and smelling good. I also have Haitian parents, so smelling good was like a part, like a ritual like me and my mom would do, like smelling, putting the lotions and potions and perfume. I always had that part of me that I felt came very naturally. So I just wanted to talk about my outfits because a lot of people would always ask me like, hey Tamar, like where'd you get this? Or like, especially because being a bigger person and looking cute and fashionable, we are like, honestly, being a fat, fashionable person, you are probably one of the most fashionable people, period. We have so much working against us. I'm looking for my eyebrow pencil and I'm like, I cannot find it. Oh, it's in this one. Like being a fat person and having limited options, just people hating on you anyway, just because you're existing. Being fashionable is literally a revolution. Like you are being unintentionally, like you're being political, you're being like dramatic, you're starting a conversation just for existing in your body. And it's like, I'm just a girl that likes fashion. I loved Clueless, I loved all those things. So anyway, fast forward, I started my blog. And because it was something I started out of my love, it took me years to really believe that it could be a business. So that's tip number one. Treat your business as a business. Don't treat it like a side hustle, because I treated it as like a supplemental, fun little cute thing that I did, which ultimately, looking back, it held me back from really soaring and excelling and pouring into it and taking it seriously. If you're gonna do this thing, do it. You have to like change your mindset. And once I changed my mindset, that's when I started to really like move like a businesswoman. I don't have any business experience. There's no one in my family who's ever been an entrepreneur. Like I'm first generation American. My parents are kind of like, keep your head down low, get the job, like just working hard, you'll eventually get to your dream. And I just like, I was working hard, but I didn't feel any closer to like the dream, especially because I was working with like all these jaded nurses that had been nurses for like 30 years and they were like miserable and like hated life. I'm like, I definitely don't want to be like that. So yeah, you have to change your mindset and you have to believe that you can do it. I know it sounds so cliche, like if you just believe in yourself, but it's really true. I would see other creators eventually make that pivot from doing it as like a part-time fun little hobby and then turning it and monetizing it. And I just didn't understand how they could do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm okay with the little supplemental income I'm making. I'm okay with it being as it is. And honestly, I thought it was a flex that people thought I was already full-time as a content creator, when I wasn't and I still had my full-time job, because the content was that good, the content was ever flowing, was consistent, I was always putting out something, I was changing as times changed, and I was like, you know, I still have my job, I still work as a nurse. But in reality, that held me back. So don't allow your job to keep you from like living your dream, because that's not the dream, punching in and clocking in for someone else. That is never that. And I feel like society, capitalism has taught us, especially in America, that you have to go to school, you have to get the degree, you have to work 35 years before you can start enjoying your life. That is insane. Like, how did we ever get to like believe that we have to wait until we're 65, 70, decrepit, gave all of our energy and youth to capitalism, to like this society, before we get to like travel the world? My mom hasn't been on vacation in her entire life, which is about to change because she doesn't know it, but I'm taking her on an all expense paid cruise because she deserves it. Mom, if you're watching this, fast forward. That's not the blueprint. And I think that's what you have to create your own blueprint if you're doing this for the first time in your family. So that's my second tip. You're doing this for the first time, there's not gonna be anyone that you can look to initially to guide you through it. You're gonna make mistakes. You're going to do things wrong. You're gonna need to ask people for help, and that's okay, because it's better to try succeeding than to just keep doing the same thing over and over and nothing changes, because nothing changes if nothing ever changes, right? You have to be willing to take that risk on yourself and on your business, because it is a business. Okay, let me color correct, because I can talk and yap all day, y'all. I really can. So we're gonna go in with my Art Rem Beauty color corrector. So there were a lot of things that I did in the 8 months to year before I actually went full time. Once I decided that I can do this full time, I had to make a game plan. Not only does it take, oh, I believe in myself, but you need to be realistic and have a game plan, because as a content creator, the way you get paid is not the same as like punching in and getting paid a direct deposit every 2 weeks. Sometimes the net pay is 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And then sometimes brands want to play in your face and not pay you at all. One time I had my hands in so many different things that when my best friend, who to this day, I literally hired her to be my bookkeeper, because she was like, Tamar, how do you keep account of everything? How do you do everything? And I'm like, I just do my best. Girl, I'm just trying my best. She's like, I want to gift you my services. We need to look at your books and like see like your invoices, who owes you money. Like, you need to have things separated, because this is a business. You want to treat it as a business. Get the business bank account, get a business credit card. Separating your transactions is major. And these were things I didn't know about, because like, why would I? I didn't have a business background. No one in my family did. No, I didn't know what I was doing. That was such a game changer. So sitting down with her, she went through my books. I got QuickBooks, which was another thing that sounds really intimidating to me. It was so intimidating, like, oh my God, QuickBooks, like this is getting serious now. But it was so necessary to really treat this as a business and keep account of the money, because this is not gonna be the supplemental income anymore. This is the income, okay? This is the primary income. So I need to know where my money is. I need to know how much I'm spending, what's going in, what's coming out, and put on my big girl panties, basically. So working with my best friend, who ended up finding out that there was a brand who owed me like $5,000, and hadn't paid it like in over a year. Now, I didn't notice because I was so crazy with everything going on, and I had my job, my primary job as a nurse supporting me, that it wasn't priority. But now, because this is going to be your priority, you need checks and balances. You need it. So I highly recommend working with a bookkeeper, getting your accounts like up to date. And now I actually she gifted me those services, but it was just so, it literally took us 6 months to go through everything, get us caught up and set up a system. and getting QuickBooks attached to my bank account with my business bank account and getting everything aligned so that we had a system. Okay, like when a payment goes in, she gets alerted, it gets sent here, like all the checks and balances. And then also my own transactions. I was making transactions both on my personal card and on my business card, but then like saying like, oh, this was for the business. Because you know what? Uncle Sam is gonna come for you and he's gonna audit you, and yeah, you're gonna be in trouble. So getting all that situated and fixed, everything on for my business, I use one card for, which is my Amex business card, which that's just the charge card. And I charge everything on that. And I can get into another video talking about credit cards and like points and like how to build your credit, because I had decent credit going into being an entrepreneur, like being a business owner, but it excelled once I learned how to that's what, like, people don't teach you this in school. They don't teach you this. This is stuff that the 1% or like the rich keep to themselves. And that's how we end up just staying uninformed. I don't want to, like, it's not ignorance, but we are uninformed, and we need to have this information to build wealth, to build generational wealth, and to like not have to live paycheck to paycheck. And I was like, once I learned all these things, because growing up in my household, credit cards were like evil. Like it was just like this negative connotation. Like you just never wanted to get credit. Credit was like the devil. You don't want to be under the man. But then I learned like how to use a credit card and like different kinds of credit cards. So that was another important thing. Setting up your bank account, setting up it as a business, you get your LLC, do everything that you have to do for your state, because every state is different, like how you have to like do your organization and representation as a business. Do all of that, get that all done, and don't get played, because there will be people who offer those services for you and overcharge when it's literally free. Just Google it or ask chat, because chat, I didn't have chat back in the day. If I had chat, girl, I would have been Kris Jenner by now, probably. You never know. So it's just like one of those things, like there's a lot of things that someone can tell you, but you have to like be willing to like help yourself as well and like teach yourself and look for the information, because honey, the information is out there. And I know there's probably someone telling me like, Tamar, you should like do a course. And I probably could. There's so many people who have like been wanting like me to do a course, and they would be willing to pay for that information. But a lot of this is free. It's just a matter of being disciplined, doing the work, researching and applying what you're learning into your life. I'm not doing anything revolutionary or rocket science. It's literally just like having the discipline to do it. But I'm willing to share here online because I wish I had someone who did a video like this that looked like me, that came from a background like I did and is doing what I want to do, and like giving some like tidbits and pieces of information. But yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm like your big sis when it comes to this. Okay, we did color correcting. Let's do base. So I got some new products from One Size. Now the colors are very different. Two very different shades. So I don't know. This is called Turn Up the Base. Okay, so we're gonna use this as the foundation. Okay, so I have color Dark Deep 55 red, and there's Dark Deep 15. Like that's a big jump. That's a big jump. I'm so scared, you guys. Let's see how it looks on the back of my hand. Now this is supposed to be really, really, really full coverage. Oh, actually, I think this might work for me. This is thick. You see how that's coming out? That is like brownie pudding, like brownie like batter. Wow, I am so shocked. I'm just gonna go in with this and see how it covers. Are we ready? Okay, I'm going in with a BK Beauty brush. Wow, no, this is like paint. This is thick. Oh, this might be like the perfect shade. I do have like some red and gold undertones. So let's see. Yeah. I think that might be a perfect match, actually. You see how that's covering up? Wow. This is my kind of foundation. I'm not, and all my imperfections still pop through. I'm like, girl, you did it wrong. I want to look flawless, okay? Wow, that was like the perfect match. I'm sorry, I doubted you, Patrick Starr. Like one size, honestly, so many products they put out are just they're like high performing, high quality products. We're gonna bring this all the way up to my 6 head hairline because we want it to blend in with the wig once we have everything on. This does kind of have like a weird smell though. I don't like it, but it looks great. I don't know if it's coming up on camera, but the color match like is really good. It's always tricky too when you're using new product and you have to go out later. Like I hope I'm not making a mistake, you know, but I think we're good. When you think you're done blending, you're not. Just keep going. That's one thing I've learned. Like I used to just like quickly apply and spread the product and move on, but that is really, when I notice and I follow makeup artists, they're blending when I think they should be moving on. They're like, I'm like, girl, there's nothing there. But that's like, you're blending it like so much, like pushing it into your skin, like it's becoming your skin, even though it's not. Okay, I think we're good. Now let's get on to highlighter. Highlighter, we're sticking to the same OG. I don't play around. I'm using my Born This Way Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. We're using Chestnut to highlight, and then we're gonna go in later with Maple to brighten. We're also gonna put on some bronzer. This is Strength by LYS. And we're going to start blending her. We're gonna let the concealer just like hang out there a little bit before we blend so it can get a little bit thick and dry and create more of like a high full coverage. Speed the process up a little bit more. So another thing that I wish I kind of knew about doing this as a business, doing this full time, is how much work it is behind the scenes that people will never see and they will always doubt you. So when you are doing something that's so different and non-traditional, especially coming from a traditional like career, people are going to doubt you, second guess you, make fun of you until it's not funny anymore. And then they will be coming asking, how did you do it? It can be a very lonely road to walk. And I never understood that because I'd always, especially coming up on social media in the 2015s, 2016s, it was always women supporting women, community over competition. When I tell you that is so fake, that I've experienced how false that narrative is. It was all a plug to get you into their community. Because when I would meet women, especially women that I followed that were like people that I aspired to be, have a career like, they were mean, they were nasty, they were not supportive. And I just like, oh, this is all false. But stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself, stay true to your vision despite like what's going on around you, who's going on around you. Don't go based off of your mood. Stay disciplined. If you see yourself as a content creator or writing a book or whatever it is that you're looking for, do it and surround yourselves with people who are also generous with their time, resources. You're around people that you aspire to be like. I've never got good advice from someone who wasn't living the life that I was aspiring to like live. Basically, why would I listen to someone who's not doing what I'm doing, is not doing anything with love, passion, service, any of that, those feelings? Why would I listen to you? I literally had a friend, or like so-called friend, who I feel like now, like looking back, she only kind of kept me around to keep a pulse on me, like, and to keep connected with like social media. She low-key didn't like me. You know when people like make those like jokes and it's really like you have to take it back, like were you just making fun of me or insulting me? Or that happened like too many times where I was just like, I need to like stop hanging out with this person, stop giving my energy and time to this person, because I'm finally recognizing it's very one-sided. It's very one-sided, and I'm still giving and pouring into this person genuinely, but all I'm receiving from this person is like, it feels like a monitoring spirit. I know like that, like that's like a trending like word, or like someone who is just keeping you around because they know that they can get something from you. And when you realize that, it is life-changing, but also like it reinforces like your insecurity. Like, do people like me for me? You are going to weed out so many people who are not truly there for you. And sometimes it can be very lonely. I'm not even going to lie. I went through a really dark time, especially once I realized like the people around me I needed for my own mental health, to remove them out of my life. It still leaves a gap, and you're still a human. You're like, dang, like, was I wrong that entire, like, can I trust my gut? Can I trust people who reach out to me? Like, it's still something I'm working on, but I'm so much better for it because I removed such negative, draining energy in my life that allowed room for people to pour into me the way that I'm pouring into them. Although my inner circle now is much, much smaller than what it was maybe like 5 years ago, it's stronger. It's way more supportive. I have peace in my relationships. I don't think there's nothing, like, you can ever put a price on being able to wholeheartedly trust someone with your life. Like, these girls are my emergency contacts, and more than like my actual blood family, you know what I'm saying? So it's saying a lot, but you might have to go through a time where it feels lonely, and that's like a part of business, because not everyone can see your vision, and they're not supposed to. I think that's another thing. Not everyone, like the girls that get it, but some of my biggest supporters are people that I've never met before. Like, they're literally supporting me online, and it's not the people in my life. I remember when I first started shooting content, just like my outfits for my blog, people would make fun of me. People were like, oh, I saw you on the street. Like, I saw you taking, like, what are you doing with your camera? It's so funny how those same people a couple years later were like, so how do you use social media? How do you do this? Girl, goodbye. Good to the bye. If you don't know what's going on in my life, you don't know what's going, like, if you are not pinned in my phone, if we're not like, if I have to scroll more than 2 swipes to see when was the last time we had a conversation, we are not friends. And I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you who's probably still stalking me right now, even though I blocked you on every single platform. I'm talking to you. Why are you here? Why are you here? And goodness, it's so interesting. It's so interesting how people are so lost in their own delusion of how they perceive you. They haven't even given the real you a chance because they're so stuck on how they need you to be in their head in order for you to be the villain in their story. If I'm the villain in your story, I hope I'm bad, okay? Because I'm the heroine in mine. And I've never regretted cutting ties with someone and it didn't serve me for the better. And some people will say that's because you're a Capricorn. I don't believe in all that stuff. But I'm very loyal. I'm a very loyal person. But sometimes in business, loyalty, like, that can be your downfall. But I'm also a type of person, once I realize I will never make the same mistake twice. And sometimes you have to make a lot of hard lessons in this business, but they only make you better. I feel I have such a wealth of knowledge because of everything I've been through, business, personal, everything mixed together. So it can be lonely. You might have to be guarded for a little bit, but stay focused on your goal and the path that you see for your business. Because if you don't see it, no one else is ever going to see it. So just keep your eyes on the prize, you know? Keep your eyes on the prize. Okay, let's do the under eye blend and then we'll set. We're gonna add some blush first. This is from Danessa Myricks. I've been loving this. Also messed it up with my finger. It looks so ugly, but she's so pretty as a base. But then I have this gorgeous powder blush duo we're going to use on top in a little bit. But we're gonna put this as our cream base and then blend our concealer together. The eyebrows frame the face. It's so crazy how I never used to do my eyebrows. I didn't start wearing makeup until I was 21, literally my senior year in college. I always had like a negative connotation with makeup. It's like, oh my God, once you wear makeup, you're never gonna be able to not to wear makeup, and I don't wanna be like a slave to makeup. Girl, it's not that serious, it's blush. It's okay. People know that you, or if they're dumb if they don't, not dumb, but like ignorant, if they think that this is natural 24/7. And then I have like a beam of highlighter, like that is my skin. Context clues, people, you know? But yeah, I never did my eyebrows. That was actually a result of not wanting to touch them after like growing up in the 90s. And like I plucked my brows into oblivion and I literally looked like Betty Boop, but more like Boop, not no Betty. Like I just looked a mess. Like looking back, I look like such a different person. And I also had a little touch of colorism because like growing up in the Haitian household, like being dark skinned, and not my mom per se, although she has like some rooted in her, I'm sure. Like you were always like trying not to get darker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you were like, don't get too dark, like, you know, or like using products like to make brightening products, but it was really like bleaching products. And I remember I will never forget this, but like when I was in high school, I was using a product that my mom gave me so much that it was a drastic difference from the color of my face to my neck. And a girl was like, you might want to start using it on your neck. And that's when I was like, I'm not gonna use this stuff anymore. Like it's just not for me. And I'm like so happy that I was able to get my color back. All because of growing up in a society that literally told me a lie that dark skin isn't beautiful. Like, are you kidding me? And it's like people are tanning themselves, killing themselves to get darker, injecting themselves. Like I am the blueprint, literally. You can't tell me otherwise. Like, no. You cannot tell me that being a dark-skinned Black girl ain't it. And I remember exactly where like I had this epiphany. It was the X Factor video from Lauryn Hill. That video, music video, changed the way I looked at Black skin because it didn't try to make her lighter. If anything, it made her darker. The way that music video was shot, the purples and the blues, the darkness of her skin was really telling a story about like how dark this love was like making her. Like it was just like a hazy blue, and it's beautiful. I hadn't seen anything like that before. And Lauryn Hill was just a gorgeous dark-skinned Black woman that was from the islands, like she was Jamaican. Like I felt so connected to her in the Fugees. So thank you, Lauryn Hill, for X Factor in that music video. I later would see that same kind of style in movies, but literally she was the first to do it. Like literally this was probably like 10, 15 years after X Factor came out. I think Moonlight was a movie that kind of like had that same effect. There's a episode on Insecure. Issa Rae is very good about lighting, like being a dark-skinned woman herself. I wonder if she pulled from X Factor because that is like the blueprint in my mind of like filming dark skin, like accentuating the beauty of the melanin, the deep, rich tones. Like, and every time I see a little Black girl, I try to take a moment and tell her how beautiful she is and how like gorgeous her skin is, reaffirming a truth that she needs to believe. Because I don't know if you remember that video circulating a couple years ago of that little Black girl who was like crying at the hair shop, and she looked at herself in the mirror and she started crying and she said she was ugly. Literally, she looked like a little gorgeous chocolate drop. And that hairstylist stopped what she was doing and poured love into her. And I wish she didn't have to do that, but it's unfortunately something that is still instilled in us as a people. These diaspora wars, the colorism between the islands. There's colorism within Haiti, then we're sharing it with half the island with another group of people who have their colorism issues and racial issues. So it's like, how could it not? And then we live in this world where westernized beauty has become the the blueprint, which is so insane because now they want black features, but they don't want black problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want the ass, you want the booty, you want the lips, you want the hair, you want the versatility, but you do not want anything to do with the culture, the issues that come with it. If any little girl is watching this, I just want to say, like, you are beautiful. Black little girls, you are beautiful. I love you. I see you. I am you. I still am you. I'm still that little black girl. I still will have like I'm so Raven moments where I can like recall the origin story of my insecurity, like with my skin or beauty or any flaws that were perceived when I was a little girl. And I'm 38 years old. I'm 38 and I still can like break those down, like remember like it was yesterday. Anyway, we kind of like shifted a little bit, but let's finally blend this under eye out. And I'm gonna tell you tip number 4. Tip number 4 is setting up a schedule. You have to do it. No one's going to do it for you. So many people ask me, how are you able to manage to put out content every single day? How are you able to like balance it all, be on socials, have a social life? Well, first of all, it's not easy and I'm not the best at it, but you have to have some type of schedule. My schedule allows me to show up and be the best that I can at my job, but not be spread too thin, because I used to love the struggle of my really tight schedule that forced me to create content on the weekends because that was the only time I had because I was working during the week. Once I went full time, girl, it was also the worst like time personally in my life when I went full time, but everything in my life was going like great creatively, but personally it was poo. Like I remember I had made the decision I was going to go full time in like 2019. I wanted to go full time in 2020. Then the pandemic hit and then I had to put a pause on it because they needed nurses and I couldn't leave the bedside. So I ended up delaying my plans to go full time, which ended up being a blessing, but I ended up getting into a relationship with somebody. This was all during the pandemic. So just think like 2020, I started a relationship with somebody. I'm dating this person. And then my dad, who had been estranged to my family like for 8 years, came back into our lives. And he came back into our lives with a terminal illness. He had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Now, that's a story for another day, but like fast forward, I basically was able to like let go of the resentment with my father and I was able to take care of him for the last 8 months of his life, which I'm very grateful for. But I don't know how I went through I don't know how I got through that. And the thing is, no one will know all the struggles that you have to show up as you do on social media. Nobody knows. And to this day, people have no idea how bad it was for me. And I'm so glad I'm in a better place. But like, I remember I had ended the relationship and then 2 days later, my dad passed away. And I had already made plans to leave nursing no matter what that April. So this happened like January 31st, I think we broke up. And then February 2nd, my dad died. I quit nursing April 2021, all in the same year, because that was the goal. If I couldn't make my goal, my dream happen in the best of times when I had everything working out for me, if I didn't do it no matter what, when it was in the worst season of my life personally, I was never gonna do it, because God doesn't answer prayers on your timetable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was praying for this. I was praying for it and I was getting everything that I wanted, but it was in the worst season of my life personally. I'm like, God, why is this happening now? Like, I ended up having all this time now. So it's fast forward to April of 2021. I didn't really have time to grieve my father or to grieve the breakup really, because like I was still working as a nurse and I was juggling these feelings. Like one day I'm sad about my dad, and then I had to put that down, but I also have to go to work. And then I had to put that down, take on like feeling sad about the breakup and grieving that. And it was just like a lot. But then I had all this free time to feel once I left nursing. And that was the worst. And that's when I started therapy, like consistently. Because as a person who compartmentalized professionally, I'm a gold medalist when it comes to that. I never put my feelings first. And so my schedule and staying busy allowed me to continue doing that successfully. But once the routine of the struggle was removed and I had free time, I had all this time to feel, and I had to check myself, or I was going to stay in bed for the rest of my life, just like get lost in depression and sadness. And so what ended up happening, I started with training. I started training with a physical trainer a couple days a week to get me out of bed, like to get me, I had to be somewhere. I was paying someone, I was looking at it as a bill because I was paying this person to show up, they were expecting me. And then I ended up falling in love with fitness. I fell in love with like working out and how good I ended up feeling. And that allowed me to then create, I still struggled for many months to create the schedule that I have now that allows me to create content. One second, I need a powder puff here. We're gonna set with my Sephora, but it all was thanks to working out, to the gym. I was able to sit down, prioritize what is it that I need to do on each day, sitting down and treating my week as quarters. And like each day had a goal and I needed to fulfill that goal. So I needed a day for my mom, like taking care of, like, cause she's getting older, business, like appointments, things like that, personal appointments for myself. I needed a day for that. I needed a day to actually do admin work. Admin stuff is like what people never talk about as a content creator. This is like emails, negotiating, posting, editing, setting up a schedule of like what I want to post this week. You can't do that the day you're shooting because it'll be like, it's just a mess. Like you're just wasting your time. So like Mondays would be like my admin days, organizing days to set up a successful week. Understanding like what is your, like my goals are gonna be different than your goals, and my abilities and like availability is gonna be different than yours. But what is achievable and realistic to you? Don't set too lofty of a goal that if when you don't reach it, you become like, you feel guilt about it and like bad that you didn't meet a goal. But set realistic goals to how much content do you want to put out a week. Example, I want to put out 4 reels a week or 5 reels a week, and I want to take the weekends off. So I'm going to batch content on such and such a day. I'm going to edit content on such and such a day, and then I'm going to spend like the rest to plan out when it's posting. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to treat it as a strategy and a formula. Like any other job, you have to plan for it. You have to plan to succeed or you will plan to fail. You know, like I just kind of like was able to get myself to think that way, and getting the routine has allowed me to just know what I'm doing every day. So I feel productive, and writing things down. I don't know about you. I used to think writing things down, I don't know why I didn't like writing things down, but now I love it. I have to write everything down, every stupid little thought, because when you're a creative person, like ideas will flow and flow and flow. And like I get my best ideas in the shower. Like when I think it's like the water removes all sensory, like you're able to just like enjoy that. And so your brain is able to flow. This is what I'm thinking anyway, because I have all of my best ideas in the shower and then I had no pen and paper. So I always keep my phone or my Alexa around. So if I can have her take the note for me or to write it down, because like I can't just hop out the shower and write something, it'll be a mess. So like I learned all these things through my mistakes of thinking like I can remember it out of the shower and then I don't. And then like, that was a cool idea. Like just write it down, create a routine. And I promise you, it will help you feel so much more productive in creating the content schedule that you see other people doing. Like, how do they do it? They write it down, they make a routine. All right, I did my eyeliner with my magnetic eyeliner. I get this from Amazon, it's like $8. Or you could get this at the beauty supply store, which I found recently. My eye wants to water, don't water, don't water. And then I did put 1 coat of mascara. I used the Tarte Platinum Lashes. I really like this one because not only is it mascara, but it's actually a lash serum that just is tinted. So it has biotin, it has like this nice cocktail to help strengthen your lashes. And I don't know if you can tell, but my lashes, it does a really good job at grabbing everything and making them longer. My natural lashes are very short but curly, but my eyeliner is really thick so you can't really see them. But now lashes. I love me a Lilly lash, and because I don't know how to put on lashes like normally with the glue, I use magnetic. So the magnetic liner plus this is the Lilly lash in the style Bonded. This is my favorite one. Miami is a close second, but Bonded is my favorite lash. And I also have a code with them. I keep forgetting to tell you guys this, but if you want to shop through my link, I do make a small commission, but it helps support, you know, this page, this channel. I get 15% off with my code Tamar, just my full name at checkout at Lilly Lashes, and you can save at checkout, which is so amazing. So Bonded on the lash, and the trick is to have enough of the liner to apply the product, and it literally will just like go on, and then you just squeeze your natural lashes with the falsie, and it's on. It won't go anywhere. And another trick is to make sure you use a lot of the product but allow the product to dry. Lilly Lashes has a lash liner. I just don't like the tip of it. It's a felt tip, but I prefer this kind of tip on my liquid liner. I don't know if you can see it. It's those old school tips. It's not a felt tip. It's kind of like a pointed brush, a very fine pointed brush. So if you've ever struggled putting on lashes, I highly recommend trying a magnetic liner. And if you don't want to wear a liner, they also have self-adhesive lashes. So you don't even need to put a liner on. They just have a adhesive on the band, or it attaches based off of like your natural body temperature, and it won't go anywhere. I would wear them and go work out, and I sweat a lot in my face. Those lashes did not move. So highly recommend Lilly Lashes and using my code to save some cash at checkout. And they're on. They're not gonna move. My last tip that I would say I wish I knew about content creation and doing this as a living is not being afraid to talk about money or how to do your business. There is no way you're going to level up if you keep everything close to the chest. Now, not to say that you shouldn't be wary about like who you give your information to and like talk about stuff, but once you are able to have your people and confide, and a lot of the times it's people that I don't know that well, but they're just so they're so about helping other people succeed business-wise. Like they want people to like know this information. And I've met them like on a brand trip or at a social networking event, and we exchange information, emails, the connections, talking about like how much did you get paid for that brand deal. Having those conversations is going to help scale your business. If you have more information, you can do more with it. But if you don't talk and you don't share, you're not like close-fisted with your resources and your generosity, who's going to treat you the same way? And so I always say, I can literally give you the blueprint. I could give you every single thing that I do, an email word for word, bar for bar, but no one can do it like me, just like no one can do it like you. Your sauce, your special sauce, the way that you do things in the world is literally your superpower, because no one in the world is like you. And I know how cliche and like woo-woo that sounds, but that really is your superpower. People who are just so focus on following trends or following how someone else's career went, they're not allowing like their own journey to bloom and flourish in their own way. But you have to talk, get information, and using that information to scale your business. Not everything's going to apply for you or work for you, but there's different things that you can apply and like help with your business. I love the women in my world, especially they're now friends. They started off as like work friends, but they're women that are so supportive in my life. And we talk about money. We can talk about the hardships of this business without feeling judged or that we're complaining or that we're being greedy, because men do this all the time and they're called like businessmen. They're like sharks. Everything is spun in a positive way. But for some reason, as content creators, especially Black women, it was so, especially when I was coming up, it was kept so close to the chest. The same creators would get all the brand deals. You would only see the same plus size creators get the same brand deals. You would see the same girls just showing up. Things kind of changed after the pandemic, after George Floyd, 2020, people were being exposed, brands, creators, everybody was. And I'm never going to regret being a generous person, because my God has promised me that he will bless me for my generosity and for my efforts. So the more that I give is only going to come back to me. So like, even if someone were to like do me wrong or like take advantage of me, my God has already promised that he's going to take care of me and give me more than what I need. So I'm not worried about that. I'm really not worried. I'm not. And I'm not even saying that like that I don't worry about things, but in the big scheme of things, I know God's gonna take care of me and like help me with my basic needs. So I don't need to be close-fisted with the information that I know and things that helped me. Why not share that with other people? Because someone shared something with me that helped me to scale my business or helped me to organize my business or my transactions. And another thing, this is probably the most important. Pray. Like, if you are a believer, like, praying over these decisions is very, very important. I used to think that praying about these things made me less of a Christian because it was like concerning money or like my business or growing. And I realized that, first of all, my perfect Heavenly Father is not going to think that I'm being selfish for putting there's a desire in my heart, this desire to be creative and wanting to help women in this way using social media. It's not about me, really. It isn't, because I could do anything and God would take care of me. You know, like he will help me to be successful in this role and take care of myself and my family. But because I want to do it through social media and through this, I have to incorporate him into my life in making decisions and praying about brand deals. There's so many brand deals that I don't take on because they just don't align with me or my beliefs or whatever it is. And I have to like be confident in that. And you know what? It always comes back around. I remember one time I passed up on this deal just because it involved things that it didn't make sense for me to do. And I was so bummed about it because it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. And you know, I'm just thinking in the long run, like this could like support me for a while. But I said no, but I wasn't like wholeheartedly like, I said no. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I said no because I knew it was like the right thing to do, but I'm like, dang, that was a lot of money. Prayed for a peaceful heart, to be satisfied and content with what I have. And guess what? God is so good. Like he already, before I even finished my prayer, there was something in my inbox, a brand wanting to discuss something that aligned so perfectly with me. It was more money and it required less time to create content. And it was just something like, wow, why was I tripping? Why was I tripping over losing money that wasn't for me? That's not for me. God is gonna take care of me and I don't have to like compromise my beliefs, my feelings, my integrity, you know? And everyone's different, but for me, that's like been the biggest one, incorporating God into my business. I used to separate it because it was like, this felt like, it's money. Like I don't want to, God doesn't care about, yes, he does, because this is how I'm supporting myself now. Just like he cared about my life when I was working as a nurse and like helping me when I had bad days or like making sure I had like the right energy and health to be able to perform in that job. I need him to help me perform at this job. I pray about like helping me to align with the right brand, or like when I jump on a phone call that is a very important business, you know, decision, that it aligns and that I have the right words and I have the strength to like walk away if I have to. Those are the most important things that no one ever talks about, or like for me, like I see, because everyone just talks about the brand deals, the PR hauls and all that, and that stuff is fun. But to make this long, I don't want to do this for a short time. I want this to be a long-term growing and scaling and doing this for a long time, but also doing it in a way that I love. I don't want to do this while hating it, because that's when it no longer becomes fun for me, and then I'm gonna have to like walk away from it, because that's exactly what happened with the nursing. It wasn't fun for me anymore. I was becoming jaded. I couldn't do the job anymore, and God allowed me to pivot to doing this full time, and it's brought me so much joy. So of course I have to continue and bring him along for the ride. And I'm so thankful and grateful for the opportunities I've been able to do, the lessons I've learned, because they just made me who I am. And that's why I say success looks differently on everyone. I don't have 1 million followers. I don't have 1 million, I don't even have 10,000 subscribers, but I have peace, I'm content, I'm happy, and I'm able to take care of my basic needs. I'm able to help my mom. Like, that's like one of the best blessings I can. I'm able to support my ministry. I'm able to help people like monetarily with my time, energy, more than I was able to do before when I was so packed, like putting everything into that schedule. So pray about it. Pray about your business. Pray about like doing content creation. Jobs look differently today than they did 10 years ago. That doesn't mean that God's not gonna care about it, because that just happens over time. People used to be fishermen and build, make tents for work. People used to, be shepherds for work. Things just change over time, but people have always kept God in their lives, no matter what their job was. So highly, highly recommend that being like the #1 tip. But let me finish my glam and we'll wrap up. I'm using this gorgeous pink and orange blush combo. This is from Kimchi Chic Cosmetics. I mean, I'm obsessed. This is like the perfect sunset blush, and I bring it all the way under. I'm so obsessed with this. It's hard not to it's hard not to want to stop, but it's so good. It's like the perfect sunset blush. And I used it on top of the cream product. This is the Danessa Myricks Prima Donna. So good, love. All right, going in with my Iconic London Illuminator. Boop, boop. A little bit here and there. So pretty. And what I like to do is take the same blush brush that had the cream product and just lightly tapping it to bring a little bit of, luminosity back. So pretty. Love, love, love. Honestly, I could do more. Should I? No, we're gonna do more because like blush is like the first to go, Just gonna, yeah. Concentrate it right there. Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, that's better. I like that a lot. It's like giving a doll, like I'm a sunset Barbie doll. I'm gonna add some brightening powder in that inner corner because we kind of lost that with the blush, but we can bring her back. This is my Huda Beauty in Kanufa. And then I'm going to melt all this powder because we're looking very powdery right now. I'm gonna take my one size powder melting spray to melt all these powders together. And as it's like almost set, I'm gonna take my Sephora Micro Smoothing Powder. This is number 60 Ebony, and we're gonna kind of set everywhere. Okay, lippy, and then we'll be done. So this lippy I just made right now, but I first went in with the Westman Atelier pencil in the color Lulu, and I slightly overlined my lips, but then I went and kind of did an outline on that with the Limitless Brown from, this is Makeup Forever, and that created like the pout because I really wish my lips were bigger. I'm like low-key wanting filler. But I mean, this is the look that I'm trying to achieve like all the way, but I'm afraid like it's not gonna look good if I don't have lip gloss on. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna look weird. So after the two liners, I went ahead with my favorite lip tint from Milk Touch in the color Apple Palm, and I put that all over, but like a light layer, and I topped it off with a bunch of lip oil from Tarte. This is the Maracuja Juicy Lip Oil in the color Goji Berry, and this also has a slightly gentle plumping effect. Like look how juicy those lips look. So good. I love it. It kind of like goes with the, like, it's like cohesive with like all the rest of the makeup. It's like a goji berry, like it's berry, it's juicy, it's like summer sunset. The glam is done. Oh, we need to set all this because we did so much work. I'm trying a new setting spray, but it's from one of my favorite brands, One Size. They came with another version of their very viral, popular Until Dawn setting spray, but this actually has SPF in it, which is amazing. I cannot believe that. It works the exact same way, but you have SPF 28. Gotta let this set a little bit. Whew. Just gonna go in with a little bit of that same Micro Smooth dusting powder, Micro Smoothing multitasking baked face powder. I don't know what, it's not dusting powder. Set those areas. It kind of gave like a little bit of a glow too, no? There's like a little bit of a sheen, but I've noticed like this setting spray, over time, it kind of like helps to pull and like suck up all the oil. Just adding a little bit more. Not more product, the same brush, and tapping some of the excess. Like finishing touches of the finishing touch. There we go. And this is the final look. I loved how the glam turned out. It took a minute. I had like to fix my nose. It's always about the destination, not the journey. And I hope you actually enjoyed the journey of today's makeup and yap. If you're a budding content creator that feels lost, or that you're just feeling like, I'm not having that moment, what should I do? Feeling very overwhelmed, but you have this desire to share and to serve. Ultimately, that's what content creation is doing. We're serving people, whether it's entertainment, education, community. It's all about service. So as long as you're rooted and that is your main intention, I think you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be just fine. And I hope these tips that I shared in today's makeup and yap were helpful and gave you some encouragement to keep on going. Because if you are struggling, that just means you are just right there before a life-changing opportunity, moment, and it's really about to take off for you. So I really do believe that. And that was the glam. Everything that I used in today's glam will be down in the description box below, but let me know, what do you guys think? I love it. The more that I look at it, I'm just like, I belong in Hawaii. Let's make that happen. But yeah, this is the glam. I love it so much. And I can't wait to make up and yap with you again soon. So before I go, don't forget to like, comment, let me know a tip that you want to share. This is about community over here. Is there something that I left out? What's a lesson that you learned that was pivotal for your social media career? I would love to know. Sharing is caring, and this can be a wealth of knowledge down below in the comments. So talk to one another, link up, connect. And of course, you're gonna watch another video. So you might as well subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a Curvy Lady upload. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.